Hey folks, Dr. Mike here for Renaissance Periodization. Choosing initial set numbers is the video for today. It is video number 7 in Beginner Training for Hypertrophy lecture series. Choosing initial set numbers. So, in the first few weeks that you're training your beginner client, all of your sets are light warm-up sets, technique learning sets. How many of them do you do? Because so far I've really just said like a few. It's 2 to 4 sets per exercise, with the option of the last one of them being a little bit heavier than the others, just to get them a bit of a feel for that thing. If they're really new, and they really knock the technique out of the park, 2 sets is all you need. If they've been training with you for a couple of weeks, or they are really like just not getting the exercise, 3 to 4 sets per exercise, well, all of them light except for the last, which is a little heavier, is probably what you should be doing to give them more of an opportunity to do some learning. Because like sometimes you teach someone 2 sets worth of squats and they're like, I don't get it. And yeah, I can tell. We have to move on now. So you can take your time and do a few of these sets. You can do fewer than this. You can do 1 set at a time. You can do more. But this 2 to 4 is just kind of to build your general intuition about where you should think about starting off and the universe you should sort of lie close to. Now, that's just in the first few weeks. In the next few weeks, you are going to start to transition to what we talked about earlier, which is the formal warm-up system, 12-8-4. They know the technique pretty well. Now they're off to a good start. After you do your warm-up sets, you are going to do 1 to 2 hard working sets, real work sets of 5 to 10 reps. So you warm up, 3 sets of warm-up, and then 1 to 2 hard working sets. And generally speaking, that's all you're going to need in the next few weeks. This is like weeks like 2, 3, or 4 of a training program. If at that point you find out at any time during those weeks that they are recovering from soreness and fatigue, no problem. Like sometimes they just stop getting sore altogether, or they're recovering just on time for the next workout. You can consider adding a set to that muscle group, to that exercise. I wouldn't go over 5 sets per muscle group. Or if you're doubling up on stuff, more than 8 sets per muscle group, 5 sets per exercise. For new beginners like that at the very top end, and really 5 per muscle group total is really, really good. Because if you need more sets than that to really drive a stimulus, you need to focus back on technique and on effort level, how close to their maximum abilities they're really pushing, because you're probably way off on those. And even if they're not being overly challenged, remember, under the hood, beginners make rapid gains. All of the scientific literature together, 5 hard working sets, 2, 3, or 4 times per week for the same muscle, that's something like 10 to 20 sets per week. That is the literal optimum recommendation for hypertrophy for that exact group of people, which are beginners. So this idea that you got beginners doing 10 sets of legs 4 times a week, or 10 sets of quads, is just kind of nonsense. It's just way too much stuff. It can lead to high fatigue accumulation, unlikely because they're so new, they just get over that. But it can lead to a lot of junk volume where they're just kind of mailing it in. Because you don't need it, because they grow super well without it, might as well just do about 5 at the top end. And if it's less than that, great. Now, after the first mesocycle or 2 that you've already completed, after the first, let's say, 4 to 6 months with beginners, they're not new beginners anymore. They're beginners, but they're training now. You can start your mesocycles with 2 to 3 sets per muscle per session in week 1. And if they're recovering well, add a set. If they're not recovering well, don't touch anything or remove a set. And if their technique is stable for every set and they are going nice and hard in each set, so there's nothing really to correct as far as technique and effort level, you can go up to as many as 6 working sets per muscle per session, which if you have compound lifts, remember they count for multiple muscles. So like 6 sets of rows is 6 sets for your back, 6 sets for rear delts, and in a sense for beginners, 6 sets for biceps. Now, if you want to focus more on biceps or something like that, you can add a few more sets of curls or something, no problem. But generally speaking, if you have a program that looks like this, just going to sort of list it out for you, a sample session to get you to understand how like a lot of this 6 really is. Whole body program. 6 sets of squats. 6 sets of deficit deadlifts. I can't believe I'm saying this. I'm not even going to say 6. 3 sets of stiff-legged deadlifts, because you do 6, hamstrings are going to fall off the bone. 6 sets of underhand easy bar rows. 6 sets of close grip bench. 6 sets of barbell upright row with a pause at the top. What the fuck? That's like 30 sets or some shit. Guys, these are 6 hard ass working sets of 5 to 10 reps with 30 seconds, a minute 30 between. You just run out of time. That's an hour. That's your workout with your client. So this whole 10 or 20 sets per muscle group BS, save that for never, because 6 sets per session, per muscle with your client is more than enough. And I'm not saying 6 is the goal. 6 is the top end limit. A lot of great training you're going to get with 3, 4, and 5 sets, even when they're well trained, even towards the end of their mesocycle. Just remember these numbers so that you have some kind of concrete base, and always autoregulation wins. If they're really recovering from soreness and stuff, add a few more sets over time, of course, 1 per week. If they're really getting beat up and you're like, well, it's only 3 or 4 sets. Well, no shit, they're beginners. They're supposed to get beat up from almost nothing. Give this some thought. Plan your training out. Always pay attention to the client. Don't get carried away with doing too much. For beginners, especially, doing too much makes no sense. When they're intermediates, when they're advanced, you can experiment with doing more, and maybe that's the right answer. But for now, focus on technique, focus on effort level within each set, and then the number of sets just won't be very extreme. All right, that's all I've got for this time. See you guys next time.